Now.
Go ahead.
It says you are live.
Oh, we are currently live.
Oh my gosh. It just now. Why?
See if I can find
people. It should make. Oh wait, you don't. It's not gonna alert you because.
I don't think I have alerts to our own channel.
I'm not usually signed in.
I found it.
Boom.
All right.
What's up, people?
Now I can listen to the chat, kind of.
Kind of.
Yeah. It's hard.
The partial chat. Oh shit.
Whoa! Don't do that.
So sorry.
What's up, safety man? Seth.
Turn Bluetooth off today. Oh gosh.
Melissa, hi.
Good job. I'm glad you're paying attention. Hey friends, Donkey Watch.
ACC Gaming. FTSS, what's up? Uneasy Rider.
Man,
Moonlight Gaming.
fast. They're just like bam bam.
Hey, Cynthia from West Virginia.
I'm a human. Please say hi. Moonlight Gaming. Okay. Hi.
Yes, it is the allegory of Plato's cave there, Donkey Watch.
How are you? That's not even on the screen yet.
Oh, my phone is faster than your screen.
Yes. It's
Hey, Carlos.
Allegory. What is happening?
I know I lost my stuff. Come back.
It's because you got way ahead of me.
I don't know. Sometimes my headset just
County.
stops talking.
Blount County.
All right.
Oh, Blount County. I think they just added you to the Facebook group. Yes.
Whenever you're ready there, love, you can.
I feel nervous.
It's story time. Mrs. Justice is going to read the story of Plato's cave.
Yes. So I'm going to read it, and you can elbow me or stop me to interject.
Yes.
Or else, yeah, I just want
Go
you to
for
do
it.
that. I'm going to move this over. All right, we're going to read Plato's Cave, y'all. I'm going to hold this up, so. All right. Next, said I. It starts weird, but this is the beginning. Compare our nature in respect of education and its lack to such an experience as this. Picture a man dwelling in a sort of subterranean cave with a long entrance open to the light on its entire width. Conceive them as having their legs, the people, and neck fettered from childhood so that they remain in the same spot, able to look forward only and prevented by the fetters from turning their heads. Picture further the light from the fire burning higher up and at a distance behind them. And between the fire and the prisoners and above them a road along which a low wall has been built, as the exhibitors of a puppet show have partitions before the men themselves, above which they show the puppets. All that I see, he said. Do you need to summarize or are we good?
You're good.
All right. See also then men carrying past the wall, implements of all kinds that rise above the wall, and human images and shapes of animals as well, wrought in stone and wood and every material. Some of these bearers presumably speaking, and others are silent. A strange image you speak of, he said, and strange prisoners. Like to us, I said. For to begin with, tell me, do you think that these men would have seen anything of themselves or of one another except the shadows cast from the fire on the wall of the cave that fronted them? Well, how could they, he said, if they were compelled to hold their heads unmoved through life? And again, would not the same be true of the objects carried past them? Surely. If then they were able to talk to one another, do you not think that they would suppose that in naming the things that they saw, they were naming the passing objects? Necessarily. And if their prison had an echo from the wall opposite them, when one of the passerbys uttered a sound, do you think that they would suppose anything else than the passing shadow to be the speaker? By Zeus, I do not, he said. Then in every way such prisoners would deem reality to be nothing else than shadows of the artificial objects. Quite inevitably, he said. Consider then What would be the manner of the release and healing from those bonds and this folly if, in the course of nature, something of this sort should happen to them? When one was freed from his fetters and compelled to stand up suddenly and turn his head around and walk and lift his eyes to the light, and in doing all this felt pain, and because of the dazzle and glitter of the light, was unable to discern the objects whose shadows he formerly saw, what do you suppose would be his answer if someone told him that what he had seen before was all a cheat and an illusion, but that now, being nearer to reality and turned toward more real things, he saw more truly? If also one should point out to him each of the passing objects and constrain him by questions to say, "What is this?" do you not think that he would be at a loss, and that he would regard what he formerly saw as more real than the things that were now pointed out to him? Far more real, he said. And if he were compelled to look at the light itself, would not that pain his eyes? And would he not turn away and flee to those things which he was able to discern and regard them as in the very deed more clear and exact than the objects pointed out? It is so, he said. And if, said I, someone should drag him by force up the ascent, which is rough and steep, and not let him go before he had drawn him out into the light of the sun, do you not think that he would find it painful and be so hauled along, and it would chafe at it? And when he came out into the light, that his eyes would be filled with the beams, so that he would not be able to see even one of the things that we call real? Why, no, not immediately, he said. Then there would be need of habituation. Habituation?
A time without adjustment, yeah.
Okay, I take it. To enable him to see the things higher up. And at first, he would most easily discern the shadows. And after that, the likenesses or reflections in the water from men and other things. And later, the things themselves. And from these, he would go on to contemplate the appearance of the heavens and the heaven itself more easily by night, looking at the light of the stars and the moon than by day, the sun and the sun's light. Well, yeah, of course. And so, finally, I suppose he would be able to look upon the sun itself and see its true nature, not by reflections in water or phantasms of it in an alien setting, but it and by itself in its own place. Necessarily, he said. And at this point, he would infer and conclude that this it is that provides the seasons and the courses of the year and presides over all things in the visible region, and is in some sort the cause of all these things that they had seen. Well, obviously, he said, that would be the next step. Well, then, if he recalled to mind his first habitation and what passed for wisdom there, and his fellow bondsmen, do you not think that he would count himself happy to be in the change and pity them? Yes, he would indeed. And if there had been honors and commendations among them, which they had bestowed on one another, and prizes for the man who was quickest to make out the shadows as they pass, and best able to remember their customary precedences, sequences, and coexistences, and so most successful in guessing at what was to come, do you think he would be very keen about such rewards, that he would envy and emulate those who were honored by these prisoners and lorded it among them? Or would he feel with Homer and greatly prefer, while living on earth, to be a serf of another, a landless man, and endure anything rather than opine with them and live that life? Oh, I lost that sentence.
Try again.
It's too long. No, I want to keep going.
Okay.
Yes, he said. I think the idea was he would not value those awards as much as he does what he has now. Yes, he said, I think that he would choose to endure anything rather than such a life. Right. And consider this also, said I. If such a one should go down again and take his old place, would he not get his eyes full of darkness, thus suddenly coming out of the sunlight? Yeah, indeed he would. And now if he should be required to contend with these perpetual prisoners, in evaluating these shadows while his vision was still dim and before his eyes were accustomed to the dark, and this time required for habituation would not be very short, would he not provoke laughter? And would it not be said of him that he had returned from his journey aloft with his eyes ruined, and that it was not worthwhile even to attempt the ascent? And if it were possible to lay hands on and kill the man who tried to release them and lead them up, would they not kill him? Oh, they certainly would, he said. This image, then, dear Glausen, is the guy's name? Oh, I didn't know his name. Dear Glausen, we must apply as a whole to all that has been said, likening the region revealed through sight to the habitation of the prison, and the light of the fire in it to the power of the sun. And if you assume that the ascent and the contemplation of the things above is the soul's ascension into the intelligible region, you will not miss my surmise, since that is what you desire to hear. But God knows whether it is true. But at any rate, my dream, as it appears to me, that in the region of the known, the last thing to be seen and hardly seen is the idea of good, and that when seen, it must needs point us to the conclusion that this is indeed the cause for all things, of all that is right and beautiful, giving birth to the visual world, to light, and the author of light and itself in the intelligible world being the authentic source of truth and reason, and that anyone who is acting wisely in private or public must have caught sight of this. I concur, he said, as far as I am able. I like him. He's short-winded. Come then, I said, and join me in this further thought, and do not be surprised that those who have attained to this height are not willing to occupy themselves with the affairs of men, but their souls ever feel the upward urge and the yearning for that sojourn above. For this, I take it, is likely if, in this point too, the likeness of our image holds. Yes, it is likely. And again, do you think it all strange, said I, if a man returning from the divine contemplations to the petty miseries of men cuts a sorry figure and appears most ridiculous, if, while still blinking through the gloom and before he has become sufficiently accustomed to the environing darkness, he is compelled in courtrooms or elsewhere to contend about the shadows of justice, or the images that cast the shadows, and wrangle and debate about the notions of these things in the minds of those who have never seen justice itself. It would be by no means strange, he said. But a sensible man, said I, would remember that there are two distinct disturbances in the eyes arising from two causes, according as the shift is from light to dark, or from darkness to light, and believe that the same thing happens to the soul too. Whether he saw a soul perturbed and unable to discern something, he would not laugh unthinkingly. He would observe whether, coming from a brighter life, its vision was obscured by the unfamiliar darkness, or whether the passage from the deeper dark of ignorance into a more luminous world and the greater bright had dazzled his vision. And so he would deem the one happy in his experience and way of life, and pity the other. If it pleased him to laugh at it, his laughter would be less laughable than that at the expense of the soul that had come down from the light above. That is a very fair statement, he said. Then, if this is true, our view of these matters must be this, that education is not in reality what some people proclaim it to be in their professions. What they aver is that they can put true knowledge into a soul that does not possess it, as if they were inserting vision into blind eyes. They do indeed, I said. Well, he said, sorry. But our present argument indicates, said I, that the true analogy for this indwelling power in the soul and the instrument whereby each of us apprehends is that of an eye that could not be converted to the light from the darkness except by turning the whole body. Even so, this organ of knowledge must be turned around from the world, of becoming together with the entire soul, like the scene-shifting periactus. Okay. in the theater until the soul is able to endure the contemplation of essence and the brightness, the brightest region of being. And this, we say, is the good, do we not? Yes. Of this very thing, then, I said, there might be an art of the speediest and most effective shifting or conversion of the soul, not an art of producing vision in it, but on the assumption that it possesses vision, but does not rightly direct it and does not look where it should, an art of bringing this about. Yes, that seems likely, he said. Then the other so-called virtues of the soul do seem akin to those of the body. For it is true that where they do not pre-exist, they are afterward created by habit and practice. But the excellence of thought, it seems, is certainly of more divine quality, a thing that never loses its potency, but according to the direction of its conversion, becomes useful and beneficial, or again, useless and harmful. Have you never observed in those who are popularly spoken of as bad, but smart men, how keen is the vision of the little soul, how quick it is to discern the things that interest it, and proof that it is not a poor vision which it has, but one forcibly enlisted in the service of evil, so that the sharper in its sight, the more mischief it accomplishes. What? I certainly have, he said. Observe then, said I, that this part of such a soul, if it had been hammered from childhood and had thus been struck free of the leaden weights, so to speak, of our birth, and become which attaching themselves to it by food and similarly pleasures and gluttonies, turn downward the vision of the soul. If, I say, freed from these, it had suffered a conversion toward the things that are real and true, that same faculty of the same men would have been most keen in its vision of the higher things, just as it is for the things toward which it now turned. It is likely, he said. Well then, said I, is not this also likely a necessary consequence of what has been said, that neither could men who are uneducated and inexperienced in truth ever adequately preside over a state, nor can those who had been permitted to linger on to the end in the pursuit of culture, the one because they have no single aim and purpose in life to which all their actions, public and private, must be directed, and the other because it will not voluntarily engage in action, believing that while still living, they had been transported to the islands of the blessed. True, he said. It is the duty of us, the founders then, said I, to compel the best natures to attain the knowledge which we pronounce the greatest, and when in the wisdom of the good to scale that ascent, and when they have reached the heights and taken an adequate view, we must not allow what is now permitted. What is that? That they should linger there, I said, and refuse to go down again among the bondsmen and share their labors and honors, whether they are less or of greater worth. Do you mean to say that we must do them this wrong and compel them to live in an inferior life when the better one is in their power? You have again forgotten, my friend, said I, that the law is not concerned with the special happiness of any class in the state, but is trying to produce this condition in the city as a whole, harmonizing and adapting the citizens to one another by persuasion and compulsion, and requiring them to impart to one another any benefit which they are severely able to bestow upon the community, and that it itself creates such men in the state, not that it may allow each to take what course pleases him, but with a view to using them for the binding together of the commonwealth. True, he said, I did forget it. Observe them, Gasson, that, said I, that we shall not be wronging either the philosophers who arise among us, but that we can justify our actions when we constrain them to take charge of other citizens and be their guardians. For we will say to them that it is natural that men of similar quality who spring up in other cities should not share the labors there. For they grow up spontaneously from no violation of the government in several states, and it is justified that the self-grown, indebted to none for its breeding, should not be zealous either to pay to anyone the price of its but you we have engendered for ourselves and the rest of the city to be, as it were, king bees and leaders in the hive. You have received a better and more complete education than others, and you are more capable of sharing both ways of life. Down you must go then, each in his turn, to the habitation of others, and accustom yourselves to the observation of the obscure things. For once habituated, you will discern them infinitely better than the dwellers there, and you will know what each of the idols is, and whereof it is a semblance, because you have seen the reality of the beautiful, the just, and the good. So our city will be governed by us, and you with waking minds, and not as most cities now, which are inhabited and ruled darkly as in a dream, by men who fight one another for shadows and wrangle for office, as if it were a great good, when the truth is that the city in which those who are to rule are least eager to hold office must needs be best administered and most free from dissension. And the state that gets the contrary type of ruler will be the opposite of this. By all means, he said. Your turn. I get to read chat now.
All done?
That was you.
So that's Plato's Cave, some Greek philosophy for you guys. And if you missed it, you can go back and listen. I think the cave allegory is most of the beginning, and then we got into more of the discussion between the teller of the story and the listener on how that applies to society and interacting with people. And what I find interesting about this allegory and its application is you see it repeated throughout history. You see innovations throughout history made by a couple individuals here and there. One person has an epiphany. One person dares to imagine a different way, a different possibility, and then they manifest it. They bring it forth into existence, right? And it's this whole. If you ever watched that silly animated movie, the kids like The Croods, right?
New is not good.
Yeah, new is bad, and new is dangerous, right? And we're kind of been taught through genetics and evolution that things that are unknown and things that are new could be bad. You're wise to kind of approach it hesitantly and find out if it's going to hurt you or not, right? Rather than just pick every colorful berry and presume that you can eat it. So with this allegory, it's somebody that's all their existence is just this little focus of shadows on a wall and the sounds of things behind them that they think are the shadows. And then they finally make it outside the cave and see the light, and the light, just hurts their eyes until they adjust to be able to see some things through, blurry and some reflections off things. And the night, that's easier to make things out. But eventually they become accustomed to see what's going on in the daylight, and they realize, oh wow, there's a whole world. There's a sun, and there's a changing of seasons, and they get their knowledge of the world and their just education expands exponentially. The speaker then says, well, they can enjoy that information, that knowledge, and go off into the sunset, right? Or they can go back to their fellow man who's shackled in darkness, thinking that this little view of the world, and what they perceive to be real or wholesome is it. And you can kind of bring that knowledge to them or offer it to them. And in that, it says that you're likely to be mauled by the people in the shackles, right? And the people in the cave like aren't going to want to hear what you have to say that is actually the truth and the what you learn from being in the light, and that you're likely to suffer at the hands of the people that you were once shackled with. And history plays that out. So interesting allegory. I thought we'd share that with you guys. It's a couple thousand years old, and we have it playing out today. So if you guys want, we can open the panel for discussion. Anybody wants to come up and discuss Plato's allegory and its current manifestations, or even historical context, that'd be cool. Put the link in.
A violent troll. You're gonna get hurt, boy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I put the link in the description.
Anybody wants to pop on the panel? Come on up.
What? Do. Nice. Oh, somebody said something to me and I lost it because this person. Well, I don't know.
Hey, Too Tall Rob. Hey, Port City.
I used too many words I don't have anymore. You're going to have to talk for a while.
AP squared. Yeah, anybody is welcome. If they have a question or a dissenting opinion, or if they want to discuss Plato's Cave.
All right, Witness Silvis. Later.
Voltaire, yeah, maybe a little more palatable.
Thanks, B squared. I was considering we should have sat on the opposite side of the table and just had our shadows telling them, because there's shadows behind us because light froze. If we'd sat on the other side, could have been funny.
Hey,
I
behind the
just tried
scenes,
to
Caroline.
move out of my shadow's way. All right, I'm right back. Oh,
Hey, Jason. Night Stalker Medic.
Jeff totally talks too much, so it's good.
Hey, Barbara.
I had I think I've only read the allegory before. I don't, or a summary or cliff notes of the allegory or something.
Yeah.
But I hadn't heard the conversation afterwards. And then I don't know. It's cool, especially how much it had to do with like eyes.
Craigslist. No, I don't have pocket constitutions that I can hand out. No.
Interesting. Maxwell Pat's talking shit via chat, but they don't bother to call us directly.
Sell it, or yeah, exactly. Yeah, through the dialectic, like we can better grasp, reality, and using and applying logic and reason.
Oh, we got Jeff. Hold on, bro.
Was that Tire Hunter?
Yeah. All right. Say something.
Come to save the day.
What's up, buddy?
What's going on? It was hurting, man. It hurt not to come up here.
Yeah.
It hurt. I got a headache, but I'm good.
And you got any questions on Plato?
Not really. I mean, I listened to the whole thing, and I'm a simple guy, man. I don't know a whole lot about that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You kind of get the concept, like that. It's an allegory, so it's a metaphor, basically, for education. And there's a part in there where it says that you can't force people. Basically, you can't force people to learn something. You know, you can present them the truth, but they won't necessarily learn it. You know, they won't necessarily adopt it and understand it, especially if they have eyes that are been conditioned in the dark cave, you know, where they've been taught or they've been forced to only look at something through one way, and you try to present something that's completely foreign and seems crazy to them, that you may get a violent response.
Yeah, I understand that. Absolutely.
Do you have any firsthand experience with this kind of thing?
I was thinking about it, and I don't think I do. I really don't. It maybe I do and don't even know. Did I? You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Maybe I do and don't realize I do.
I think you had some of that experience on Sunday, my friend.
Yeah, right. Well, yeah, I guess, yeah. If you want to put that out there like that, yeah, sure.
Yeah, you were expressing a thought and an idea that, you know, with 8 magic letters that
right,
you know, could be unpacked and say, why are you saying that? Well, there's a whole history of why I'm saying that, and police being you know, lawless and criminals and yeah. So
and see, I told you I probably have and didn't even know I was, you know, that I did. And
you're bringing a little bit
right.
You're bringing a little bit of sunlight into the cave, into the small town, and they're like, no, that hurts.
Yeah, and I remember you, or I think I even said it too. Like, they're in the dark, so like you said, we just brought a little light, and it's just a little teeny light too. It's not even a big light. It's just it's a little beacon, and they still don't get it, but I guess they will sooner or later. But it's probably gonna be later. Maybe not. I don't know.
Well, we can't. You know, somebody said you're the best.
Oh,
the YouTube watcher said Eric's on the way. That's right.
Whoop.
Yeah, he just made a video. I think not, but a little bit ago.
Yeah, but, you know, we can't force people into the light. You know, we can only present what we know, what we've learned. And if this allegory is a warning, it's that likely doing so, you know, is at your own peril, that the people in the cave will fight you tooth and nail to shut you up, because it's not in their reality of what they understand. So it challenges their paradigm of reality and what the world is. And
absolutely, and the whole thing, especially with the video that that dude made. I'm not going to say his name. That you know, that we was up there to cause trouble. We absolutely not.
Right.
Absolutely not. And
yeah, I mean, from the get-go, one of the first people that jumped out and talked to us asked, like, why the sign? It's like, well, it's to have dialogue. It's to promote dialogue. And they're like, well, how is this to promote dialogue? Well, you came up and you started talking to me, and normally you probably wouldn't stop and talk to me if I was standing up.
Absolutely wouldn't. I mean, you talk to strangers for no reason.
Right.
Right. Mama told me not to do that, but I didn't listen. What?
Yeah. So it's like we've that's a big part of it, was to promote dialogue about the situation. And then the other part was to express, you know, a specific grievance with the police, and to express the First Amendment, you know, because it was quote unquote Constitution Week. So,
Joe Black is here.
Joe Black.
Hey, Joe.
Hello.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. How are you doing?
Save me, Joe.
Yeah, I think some people just don't want to learn. They like how they see things, and anything that then comes along and questions that is just intolerable to them.
And,
Yeah.
and that brings up good. I kept saying you're blind to it. You're blind to it. No pun intended, of course. But I kept saying, well, we don't have any bad, cops around here. That's because you're blind to it. Maybe
Right.
you just don't know that you got them.
Well, I think
Yeah.
they couldn't get their head round the sign saying "fuck the police" didn't mean you hate police.
Right.
It sort of means you
Absolutely.
hate injustice and the no accountability. And
Yeah. How many times did y'all see me trying to talk and Blind Justice and many other ones that was there with us? Try to wrap their heads around it. Like, look, just because I got this on there, don't mean that I hate cops. Hey, Furry Potatoes in the chat. Hey, Furry.
And Eric.
And
Hey,
Eric,
What's
what's
up?
up, guys?
Furry's in the chat? I haven't
Yeah,
seen
I
Furry in
know,
the chat
right?
forever.
You know what? Somebody said
Furry!
want to repost?
somebody said Furry was in my chat one day,
Oh my
and I
God.
like to freaked out, but come to find out she wasn't. Somebody was just messing with me. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me, dude? Ah,
I think I was there. Hi.
right? People was like, Furry, hey, Furry. I'm like, where's Furry? I don't see Furry.
And Eric, he said he has signal. He popped in real quick. Say hi.
Hey,
Mwah.
hope your road trip is going well.
Furry Potato, come on.
Yeah, you can pop up if you want, Furry.
Oh, I meant like come on to Madison
Oh.
also.
Right.
Well,
I think people's heads would probably just detonate
It
off
would
their
just
shoulders.
implode.
Yeah.
I think it would just no. Oh man.
Yeah.
Also,
This is going to be so epic.
950 came in a minute ago. This is Too Tall Rob.
Right.
Sorry.
Welcome to the show.
I'm just adding people.
This is going to be so epic. And anybody passing through Interstate 70, Eric has my phone number. Leave me a message on one of my videos at the 303 exit on I-70 or Junction City. Hit me up if you need any hospitalities or anything. Support the travelers for North Carolina. Damn, if I could just find a baby for my dog, I'd be in us.
Yeah, let me say this. If anybody is thinking about coming to North Carolina, I'm sorry, my alarm's going off. Please contact Eric Brandt. And I'll give you his. I'll even put his phone number out here because he's put it out there many times anyways. So, you need to get a hold of him. Absolutely, get a hold of him. It's very important.
Rob, is that Junction City, Kansas?
Yeah, Junction City, right next to the home of the big red one of the United States Army, Fort Riley.
Fort Riley, yeah.
Eric Brandt's number is 505
No,
585
nope.
9850.
Wrong.
Oh, that's the wrong number. That is the wrong number, ain't it? I'm sorry.
Here, I got it.
All right. That was. Never mind. That was another Eric. Please don't call that number.
Eric is 207.
I'm sorry. That is not a friend of mine.
Hang on. Yeah. 207 370 4571. Repeat, 207 370 4571. And yeah, he is the one organizing all the hoo-yah and hootenanny and the get down and the woe down. And man, I tell you, I kind of figure they're going to be passing by me anytime after 3 o'clock this morning. And
yeah,
hey, if I gave Eric the low down, give me a call. I'll meet you at the truck stop with a couple of pizzas for the trip or the tank of gas or something. I wish I had plastic on my card, but I got cash.
Motorhome with him.
Yeah.
So a second ago, Joe said, I think you said that talking about Plato's cave and people learning and they don't want to learn. They like it the way things are. And and mom here, the changing a poopy diaper came to mind, and how when you got a little kid and they pooped and it stinks, but it's warm and it's squishy and it's cozy, and they made it themselves. Huh?
I said I hope nobody's eating.
Right?
But the idea being that it's theirs and it's something that they have. And when I go and try to take it from them and get them cleaned, they don't necessarily always appreciate it. So it's this holding on to this old stinky thing because it's mine and this is what I have and this is what I know. And you're telling me this is not healthy for me? What? Like, yeah, that's sometimes a very loud, uncomfortable situation.
Yeah, but even I think another way that we've had this manifest is through different periods of activism. If you go back and look at dates on the channel, like we have, a month or two of activism and then a month, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months of nothing being posted, no videos being uploaded. And a lot of that is, the activism is a lot of times going back into the cave with light, and sometimes getting beat up for it, feeling the consequences. And then we kind of escape back out of the cave and go
Breathe a little.
try to use the Plato's, words, like go to the higher realm and kind of live more peacefully without incurring the wrath of people in the cave. But then something always pulls me back, like that I know there's still people suffering, thinking that life is about this endless cycle of violence. And so I'm compelled to go back and try to reach people. So
yeah, because if this is what happens when the light of the camera is on people, what's happening in the dark? And that one just like haunts me. So can't just let people get beat on and trounced on all the time.
I used to live in a little town smaller than Madison, Longford, Kansas, and Clay Center. I left Clay Center, Kansas, because I was ready to kill some law enforcement officials. And
how long ago was that?
About 6, 7 years ago, and then a police officer that I had issues with turned out to be the investigating officer of a crime I allegedly did. And what happened with me, Justice, is there was some small town justice shit, and here's this hippie from Missouri and Kansas with the tie-dye skirts and thinks he knows his rights a little bit. And, a couple of them cops get handed their ass and put in check. They don't like that, and they retaliate. Well, I was dating, I guess you might call her a couple of the public officials' dirty little secret. This girl I met that got to liking for a little bit. And anyway, she was moving out of town. At that time, this lady lost her purse and her credit card got used to add time to my phone number, but it was used at the wrong phone company. And this piece of shit cop that I had differences with was the investigator on that. And from the evidence I've gained throughout the trial and after the trial, and with the piece of shit public defender, I was tried, I was convicted, and basically the only evidence in court was, here's a receipt from the phone company or from the credit card people that, somebody tried to pay my bill at the wrong phone company. My fucking lawyer didn't even recognize that difference, that, hey, that's the wrong fucking phone company. There was also twice that this cop was seen talking to members of the jury after both parties, the witnesses and the jury, were sequestered in the lobby of the courthouse. Just outside the courthouse in the lobby outside with all the public, and here's a stack of donuts on a tray, and here's a big old 2-gallon pot of coffee, and y'all sit out here and not talk to each other. Well, twice we come out of the courtroom and seen the sequestered jury and the witnesses out there munching on donuts, talking to each other. Twice I pointed out to my attorney, that's fucked up. And my attorney says, well, if we do, we'll save that for an appeal. Well, anyway, this piece of shit lawyer could not even file my appeals paper in due time. He got fired, and later, after my appeal time, I was in court with another lawyer that was newly appointed, and the judge still held that we didn't have a leg to stand on for a defective lawyer and that and the third. And through the appellate court process with 3 issues, I was not granted a new trial for a defective lawyer. The lawyer did not bring witnesses to the trial that I requested, like the phone company. You could bring the records of the phone call transaction that's recorded, or the operator, and no, that was a girl that called trying to add time. And also the jury tampering and the court failing to sequester the jury. It was a sad day in justice. Now, here's what was interesting. I was at home and just new to the internet, and the girl at church was my computer tech. She set up a computer and got me started, and I started getting this shit phone calls that I'm from Microsoft, give us the codes and we'll be in your computer and make it run faster. And anyway, I wound up calling the police after talking to my tech about, this guy, and we busted him out. You're a fraud. And, Margie said something about, we got your number and we're calling the police and whatever. And he hung up, and I said, oh, we're calling the police. He goes, well, I just told him that. And I said, well, maybe you're right, because I wouldn't want this bastard calling my mom. So in my attempt to report this scam on the phone, I reported to the police to send an officer, but it was a terrible winter, icy, coming down night. Told dispatch, just have an officer call me and I'll give him the info. 2 hours later, the police finally made it to my door, or the sheriff with the highway patrolman for backup, and knock on my door and, hey, how you doing? Are you Robert? Yeah. Why didn't you call me? I got dogs in the house. Go out to your car. I'll bring you the information and give you my statement. And he says, well, can I see your driver's license? And I said, well, yeah, give me just a minute. And I shut the door, got my license, opened the door, stuck it out there for him, and went to shut the door, and I'll see you in the car. And boom, the door come open. You think O.J. Simpson was in the house. They told me they had a warrant. They didn't have the papers while I was getting prepared to go to jail with the boys. They were rifling through items on my desk, illegally searching. I wasn't, they were there to arrest me, not search my shit. I made bail. I got home from jail. And I remembered this deal. I had a LifeLock membership with that, lifetime membership with that LifeLock company. And I called him and I said, I don't know what the fuck's going on, but I've been arrested for identity theft, use of a card, this and that. I don't understand what the fuck this is. And after about 5 minutes talking to this girl, she says, you're more than likely the victim of third-party ID theft, where somebody found somebody's identity and is using that, and they're also using you, third party. So, if I found a credit card and went to add time to Mrs. Justice's telephone using somebody else's card, Miss Justice is the victim of third-party identity theft. I contacted my sheriff, although it was the city police that had the complaint and the charges against me, because that's what LifeLock told me, is report to my police. I reported to my police. I'm the victim of a crime. And these fuckers told me, we'll call the DA and talk to him and this and that. And he called me back and he said that the district attorney says, the man that's prosecuting me tells the sheriff, we're not investigating your complaint or your crime that you're alleged that you're a victim of because this is your alibi. It's not a fucking alibi. It's a fucking crime. I mean, well, if you have the information and the evidence and stuff, and I said, well, I think I got an idea who did this. And my further investigations, I found out somebody was in possession of a U-Haul truck and has a vehicle with a 13-gallon tank. And that credit card was also used for a 32-gallon purchase of gas and 12 gallons of gas. So that kind of leaves her car and the U-Haul truck was at the gas station before they tried to add time to my phone call the wrong phone company. And all the sheriff had to do was investigate her phone number and her new number 7 boyfriend's phone number and see if the crime was perpetrated. I come to find out this old girlfriend been arrested for 2 days. Yeah. I was just going to say that the DA tells the sheriff what crimes he does or not investigate or take complaints on. And it turns out that this old girlfriend is a dirty little secret of the DA and the police officer. That somehow or another she had 2 DWIs that disappeared, and
thanks, Dragon.
And she was also doing maid service for the DA for a while. Interesting.
I got a few super chats I got to thank real quick. Furry Potato gave a super chat. Thank you very much. And I Hate Cops. Appreciate you.
What'd they say?
They were stickers. Furry Potato said #1 fan. I think it was a little dancing face.
Dragon just did one.
United Watcher said, I'm getting there, said, you're amazing. I Hate Cops. I don't remember what you said. I think something like they love us, but I have to go back. And Dingram just gave one that's got a little jumpy guy on a little rocket ship.
Okay.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
I'll scroll for I Hate Cops.
Yeah, Rob, it's interesting, like all the different little connections and people that are holding each other's secrets, in positions of government, and if you happen to pull a thread and you're able to uncover it, like it's likely to be connected to other people's secrets, and that may, sadly, that may be the leverage that you need to actually get justice, to get them to do their job properly. And because it's a criminal organization, it's the mafia, they don't respect actual law, they don't respect you or me or people or
there was one gentleman there in Clay Center, Kansas, that's in the county of Clay County, out central Kansas, northeast, not the one by Kansas City. But this one guy, he was just kind of a town drunk, but he was a good, hard-working guy. He just had alcohol issues. He come across some shit, and he had some injustices served.
All right.
And he was bringing charges against
Rob,
the city. And this, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I love you, man. We got to let some other people talk.
Okay.
Mike D said, funny money, keep up the great work you do. Big thanks from Scotland.
Hey.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. And I Hate Cops' message was, hi, Mr. and Mrs. Justice. I love you guys. I was close.
Hello, I Hate Cops.
And Furry Potato earlier said that she thinks you're hot. And I posted that in the, I put it at the bottom of the screen. That's why I was chuckling at one point. Because
it's just my shirt.
Oh, yeah. Somebody asked what your shirt says.
Can you see it?
It says, fuck the just us system.
Is it on the screen?
Yeah.
It is partially on the screen.
Want me to stand up?
Oh, I got you.
You got it?
Got it, guys? Boom.
Yep.
I made that.
It's a Mrs. Justice original.
It is. And then
I think I will need one of those with an autograph of the two of you on it.
Yeah, maybe.
When they come in, and we'll make some arrangements later.
Yeah.
But to finish up on that, if I could finish on that thing with Clay Center, that one boy that had, I'm trying.
All right, bro. I hear you.
Anyway, this boy had a couple of false arrests and had some real good charges against the police. And some other thugs wound up beating him within an inch of his life and left him as a vegetable.
Wow.
And yeah. And the boys that eventually was brought to justice for pounding this guy out, and apparently 2 of them, of the 4, I mean, they wrecked this guy bad. How he lived, who knows. 2 of the men that got busted on the case, they didn't, neither one of them get 6 months in jail. Yeah, it's, be careful, brother. Be careful.
Appreciate
Hi,
it.
Mike.
Hi, this is just another tape. What are you, man? What's your name? It's half of it's gone.
This is formerly Film the Police Minneapolis.
Okay.
Yeah. Nice. Night Stalker Medic just gave a super chat. Love what you do, my military brother. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Night Stalker.
All right. Welcome to the channel.
Y'all have fun. I'm out of here.
All right, man.
Jeff.
Yep.
Bye.
Have a good night, buddy.
Right on.
Right on, right on. Just got a headache.
Yeah.
Oh, God,
So what's the deal on this Madison thing? Are y'all gonna take it a little further, or is it a done deal?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, are y'all gonna go back out again? And
Oh yeah, it's never a question of if, it's more of a question of when. And we've got people coming into town from all over the place, evidently.
nice,
Yeah.
Yeah.
very nice.
Found out when y'all did. Right on.
Friday should be interesting.
You know what I found interesting is, and I mentioned that to Jeff, and I don't know if he saw the comment or not, but there was a gentleman. I was in your live stream when that happened, and so there was a guy that stood like 15 feet away from you and gave you the finger. I'm like, God,
hilarious.
I haven't even seen it. What
It's
the
funny.
hell?
Yeah, that
Happens
happened
a
on,
lot.
That happened on the live stream the other day when I went up and they were praying at the police department, and then I went for a walk after that, and ran into a local lady that was walking her dog, and somebody on a motorcycle, revving their engine when they came by, and she's like, they just flipped me off. I'm like, oh, I'm pretty sure they probably were flipping me off. But it's really funny because if you wouldn't have said something, I wouldn't have known. And
Yeah, it's so silly. It's
Yeah,
so silly.
I just thought it was just really funny, and I'm like, why in the hell is this dude flipping you off when he can't even see you?
yeah, someone said that on Tuesday that I don't know if it was one person or persons were putting a laser on my head, like somebody in the crowd was putting a laser on me.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's scary.
Yeah. I saw that when I was going through the footage later. I'm like, this is not okay.
And then they followed you home, right?
Oh, there were
That
multiple
was Sunday,
days.
but
Yeah. Sunday was, he and I went out. That's when they followed us home.
See, all this shit over Pokemon, really?
Not quite, but
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
not quite.
I just, I've been following you for a long time, and I saw the Pokemon thing, and them wanting to blast the windows out and all that other stuff, and I'm sitting here and I'm just putting my hands up and going, what in the hell?
Yeah.
It was nuts.
It's really crazy.
Yeah.
But I mean, it goes just from talking to some of the locals last week or so. The mentality is I don't know how to describe it other than using Plato's allegory, like she read at the beginning.
Hola.
Joe Cool's in here.
Hey, what's up, Joe?
What's good, baby? I just come in here. I see you with the worst company in the world. So I came in here to help you out, bro, because Joe Black them suck.
What
Yeah,
are
we
you
were.
talking about? Get out of here.
Wait,
There's
Joe,
only one.
Joe, you evil, bro. I ain't gonna forget you sent my girl teddy bears in hearts, you evil. That was funny.
What's good, Joe?
Actually, I gave up my apartment today. I ain't turned the keys in, but I cleaned all the shit out. And I probably gonna fly out to Colorado in a day or two and go see my girl. And I may be seeing you cats, bro. I think you got something planned. I may be going to see you, bro.
Come on, man. We got space for you.
Come on. Awesome.
I just got off the phone with Wendy, yo. She like, why don't you stop in South Carolina first?
Come on.
So I make
North Carolina.
I'm sorry, thank you.
Oh, that laugh.
I'm in the wrong place.
That fucking laugh kills me.
What's up, Derek?
Man,
Hey, what's up, man?
this little town is gonna get a interesting wake up call.
Somebody called it a freedom enema.
A freedom enema.
A freedom enema. I need to call.
Just got another decent super chat.
Oh, hold up. I got a red one. Got a red one here. Hey,
you
bro,
see
you guys
Super
are
Chat and
inspiration.
Stream
Thank you for your service. Oh man, thanks.
Ooh.
We gave 50 and you 900 Dagram. Is it Dagram?
Oh yeah, you can see super chat and stream. All right. You guys are an inspiration. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Yeah. No, it's I don't know if you missed the beginning of the stream, Joe.
I absolutely did.
Yeah, Mrs. Justice read Plato's Cave. It's an allegory, written a couple thousand years ago, talking about how basically imagine a cave where people are their whole existence, all they know is being shackled to a wall, and they're forced to look one way, and they see shadows on a wall dancing in front of them, but they have no context of anything outside of that, right? They don't know they're in a cave. They don't know that that wall's a low wall, and then there's a space above it, and there's light, from a fire on the other side of that wall, and people are using puppets to cast the shadows. They don't understand that's happening. They think that the shadow is reality.
It's real.
This little thing that they see, that's the whole reality. And then one of them gets free, and makes it outside into the outside world and takes some time to adjust because of the sensitivity to light. Yeah. And then they see, oh man, the world is vast and open and all this stuff. And there's stars and there's the sun and the moon. And they have all this more knowledge of reality. And then they remember, my brothers and sisters are still in that cave.
Yes.
And then they have to go back, like you feel compelled. I need to bring the truth, of reality that I've learned to help educate these poor people that think that this little thing of what they see is reality. And in so doing, they get mauled and beaten and sometimes killed in the process of trying to.
Right?
I love the analogy, bro.
Yeah.
It's fucking sharp. And it's obvious. We don't even have to be like, what is Plato talking about and how does it relate to today? It is obvious as fuck.
Oh yeah. I was gonna say that describes Madison, North Carolina to a T.
Yes, that describes us and them too in particular. I was thinking about I'm seeing you as you're saying that. Are you getting the scars and the wounds, man? Even your wife, you're getting the cuts and the wounds, trying to help motherfuckers who don't want to be helped.
Yeah.
It's weird, but that's how it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what you missed at the beginning. She went through that. It's really good, really good read. And there's even more, to it after he lays out that allegory about, the duty of people that happen to make it out of the cave. Because there's some argument to say, well, why would you want them to go back and live in such a horrible place as that cave? Like once they know that there's so much more to the world and there's so much more to freedom and reality, and it's like, well, because there's a greater whole. There's the society, there's humanity, there's your brothers and sisters that are still suffering. So yeah, it's gonna suck to go back into that darkness once you've seen the light.
Yes.
But we have a duty to each other as brothers and sisters to They're like, hey,
Here's
this.
the interesting part to me, and I want to ask you. I don't want to lose my thought first. Fuck, I'm gonna lose my thought because I wanted to ask you this. Plato's Cave. It's not written by Plato, is it? Because I read a ton of his shit. I don't remember reading that.
Yeah, it's written by Plato.
It is by Plato. Okay. The other thing I wanted to say to you that don't you think when you go there, the ironic thing, when you go in that cave to get those people and you tell them, you would think it'd be simple. There's a bigger world out here. What you're seeing is wrong. I've seen it from a different, but in their stubbornness, they will attack you and say you're wrong. You're now an outsider. They will give you shit, man. Do you agree that that's the way shit works?
Yeah, you're an outside agitator, right? You're
suddenly right. You're not one of them anymore with that bullshit philosophy.
It's like, no, I came from here.
Right.
I know this. I know the
Right.
argument. Sometimes I know it better than you do.
I know both sides. No, you don't.
Yes.
You're now an outsider. You left us and you don't see the way we see anymore. You see different. I see the parallels, bro. I really do, man. I took a beating last night for saying that when people do horrible shit, I mean really low life shit, that at some point I would like to be there to help them, and I don't feel it's my duty to hurt them. I'm not sure about that, but I am sure it's my duty to continue to put out the good message and shed some light even to them.
Yeah.
And I got my ass tore off. I had friends turn on me and, yeah, Joe, we see how you are now. What the fuck, yo? You know, you are not allowed to help that guy. That was the message they was telling me last night. He's too dirty. And I don't, you know, God knows I don't want to compare myself to Jesus, but that was his accusation. You fuck with the low lives. They killed him. They thought that was such a dirty thing to do, hanging with the poor and hey, text me back. Okay, I got you, pimp.
Yeah, the cops killed him.
I'm sorry, I got a text and lost my fucking train of thought. What the fuck are we just talking about? I mean, squirrel. Okay, you said the cops killed him,
right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
The cops and the cop worshippers.
What do y'all think about this? You cats are smart. There's Jesus, I think he said, be careful and don't of your words and don't mouth off. Of course he didn't say mouth off. I'm misphrasing, but when you're in front of the judges and those powerful people, or you're hasten your end. Jeez, motherfuckers texting me. I can't text on this phone. Let me switch phones because I can't text anyone back. You know how I do.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to drop a link. I gotta switch phones, man.
All right.
I got you.
From what I know about Joe Cool, he would be the first one after escaping the cave to run back in there to help show the others the way.
Yeah. That was one thing that was striking when I was reading through it, was the coming back into the cave and having to acclimate to the darkness.
Right.
When it said your eyes are filled with darkness, I was like, ooh, that's an interesting idea. And so you're coming back into the cave and you're blind, and now you got to feel around. And this was your native land. Like this was where you rocked it. And here you are, and you can't even find your way back to the stupid wall.
Right.
And so people are looking at you like, you don't fit in here. You don't match. What in the world? What you went through must not be worth it.
So with that, it's an allegory, and how that applies to like today in our life is when we have conversations and you're like, man, these people, why don't they get it? I'm like, well, hold on, slow down. Like, remember, we were those people. Remember, we were once acclimatized to the cave, and that's what we thought. That was our worldview, and we've been outside for so long that going back in, it's really hard to acclimatize. Like, it's hard to imagine having that be the all of existence when you've already seen the light. Like, but you have to like almost go back in, and so that's why a lot of the language we use isn't really the true language that I prefer to use when talking to people about reality and existence and what I really believe, because I use the language of the cave because most people are still in some part or other in a cave. And so I try to use language that can convey the message in a way that they understand. That's why I use terms like the Constitution and rights, even though those are constructs and are imaginary things that don't really have any existence in reality. Like,
I am practicing piano. Give super chat. He said, go to the Madisonites churches and you will see what hypocrites they are. They pretend to love God and country.
Yeah, we attempted to go to a church Sunday and were turned away on 2 counts of discrimination. So
you guys are going to churches, and first, before we go to churches, I'm sorry, I heard you say I speak the language of the cave. All right. That was pretty fucking cool, right? You gotta learn to speak Democrat, Republican, black, white, all these illusory items. You have to learn that fucking language, and it sucks. But I hear you.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to go to Mexico, if you learn Spanish, it's going to be a lot easier.
Yeah.
Yes. The language of the cave, you big ass pimp.
You out of here, brother?
Gotta get up early. Y'all
All
take
right,
care now.
All right, be easy, Terry.
Night Stalker Media is on the panel.
You're welcome.
Oh.
Somebody's got an echo.
Hey, Blind Justice, how you doing?
I can't see any names. Who was that again?
Oh, sorry. Hold on.
Night Stalker Medic.
I got you.
Okay. All right. Night Stalker Medic. I thought I knew everybody, and I don't think I know you.
Oh, we've talked before, Jeff.
I should have known.
We've talked before. But
go ahead.
I was going to bring up a study that they actually did with. They had some like chimpanzees that they did a study on, and they had chimpanzees in one room where they put like bananas at the top.
Hold on. I think you can find a video on that, Night Stalker. There's a video on YouTube of this experiment that
snap.
If you don't mind to steal your thunder, that's it.
No, go ahead. It's your channel. You go ahead.
Yeah. But no, it's a great
Nice talk. I like you already, man.
It is a great study that really kind of shows the mentality of like it's a little bit of Stockholm syndrome, like in a societal form with primates.
Okay, well, I haven't, the study, bananas on the ceiling, and what was the objective here?
So she's gonna pull it up. Hopefully, she'll find it. But it basically,
I'm trying.
They're trying to teach the chimps. These either chimps or orangutans, I forget. But they're trying to teach them to
not to go to the top of the thing to get the banana.
Well, it was trying to teach them compliance. It's trying to teach them that you do what's the rules are of the cage, or else you get the water hose. You get
wow.
Exactly.
Yeah, and come on, you got to find this thing because I know it's on YouTube.
I mean, I have one. It's not Harlow's monkey.
I'm dying to know. I'm guessing that they followed the rules.
Well, hold on. It's just
they had them separated in between 2 rooms, and they had one group where they could go up and get the bananas off the top of the pole, and then they had the other room. Every time they try to get to the bananas, they would spray them down with a water hose.
Please don't tell me they can see the other monkeys getting bananas. That would be crushing.
No.
Hold on.
Okay.
I got you.
I'm
gonna do this. It's gonna be awesome. I'm gonna do it right today.
Watch Joe Cool. You're gonna love if they can find the video. It is crazy.
They got it. They got it.
Understand.
All right. Can you see it?
All right. Yeah, I'm blowing it up now.
Maybe I interrupt for a quick moment. I just noticed at the 9:02 mark, there is a Too Tall Rob comment. It's made by, well, it says,
but it's not.
Somebody's been using my account. That's the one with the horse picture. So do what you want with that. I think if you block it, it'll block me. But if you moderate me and my channels, you'll know which one isn't me. And thank you for your IP address, whoever's using my account. Identity theft is real.
Do that mean they got your channel?
All good. All right.
Who the fuck knows? But they've incriminated yourself.
Right.
I just want to let you guys know. Apologize for the interruption, but
the monkey stepladder experiment.
Here we go.
Here we
Check
go.
this out.
All right. Can you hear it?
A scientist placed 4 monkeys in a room with a stepladder upon which there was a bunch of bananas. Whenever a monkey went to climb the ladder, the other monkeys in the room were sprayed with cold water. After a while, each time a monkey went for the bananas, the others would attack it to prevent it from doing so. The monkeys learnt to never climb the ladder. But then, one of the monkeys was removed, and a new monkey wearing a raincoat was introduced. Naturally, this monkey went for the bananas, and it was customary attack to prevent it from doing so by the others. This new monkey learnt not to climb the ladder. So when another monkey was substituted in and made for the bananas, all the others attacked it, including the one in the raincoat, despite the fact that it had never been sprayed with cold water. A third monkey was substituted in, and then a fourth final monkey. And still, whenever a monkey tried to climb the ladder, the others would prevent it from doing so, even though none of them had ever been sprayed with the cold water. When asked why this was, one monkey said, "That's just the way it is."
I don't want to be the dick to go political, but that immediately made me think of when they told Trump, it was like it wasn't the vaccine. Maybe it was when the vaccine is the COVID test. He was saying everyone will be able to get the COVID test, and Trump was like, "Yeah, it's available to everyone." And one reporter stood up and said, "No, it's not. The general public can't even get this. It appears that only rich people can get it." He first said, "No, that's not true." And then he said, "Well, that's just how it is." That is so interesting. The monkey says that's just how it is. And they haven't even seen the original thing.
Right.
Those. That is interesting as fuck.
Right. Like why are we hating on these people? Why are we spreading hate? Why are we attacking these people?
Why are we smacking them down?
Yeah, I don't know. That's what these people started doing, and that's what Uncle Bobo did, and Grandma. I don't know why we're doing it. Like,
oh, blind justice. Isn't this it? Because people always tell me, because your dumbass friends went in there and did this, they instituted a new law, and everybody gets hurt, and they teach them to hurt us. We go into a post office, and they say no one gets served until this guy leaves. They teach them to hurt us. I think it's simplified, man.
What's up, man? Something on there.
Hey, welcome.
I think we might have a fake Joe Cool in the chat.
Pop him. Pop him. I don't know. I don't want to tell y'all rules, but that is not me. Y'all can get rid of that nigga. There's been a fake Joe Cool running around.
Yeah,
the Trump 2020.
Yeah, I just noticed at 9:05. I just noticed at 9:05 that the fake Too Tall Rob made another comment. The one with me and horse picture.
Joe Cool, are you talking about the one that said?
Yes. I'm Trump 2020. Get rid of that nigga.
Hey, Rob.
If any of the investigators want to help, yes.
I just got a message from somebody saying that they graduated from Clay Center in '97 and they want to connect with you.
All right.
Yes, get a hold of me. Leave a message on my channel.
You're in Colorado, Too Tall?
Get a hold of me.
Shoot us an email, and then we can pass on your information a little bit easier. You got our email address, Rob?
Yeah, it's in the private coming up. Yeah, I don't know, but if any of the investigators is on board, get the information on that fake Too Tall for me. My computer.
Are you in Colorado, Too Tall?
But that person.
All right, I remember seeing you with some of them. All right, I was gonna definitely have to smoke with your ass. Right, you gotta tell that story. Last time I went to Denver, Anna Sophia was on the way, and Chuck Bronson, he was like, "Come on, man, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go." And we waited now, like, all right, let's go. And then she walked in, and I don't know if you know Anna Sophia, but that's all she does on her channel. And here we're gonna do pineapple dabs, and here this and that. That she is known famous for smoking weed. And she walked in the door, and I told Chuck, take your coat off, man. He's like, no, we're gonna go. I'm like, are you crazy? I'll be able to tell a story of how I smoked weed with Anna Sophia. I will not pass this up. And she brought fucking chocolate chip cookies with the weed in them and shit. It was turned into a great fucking movie.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh yeah,
She is.
awesome.
I miss her too. I haven't seen her in a while.
Okay.
Dee Dee, I don't know if you remember Dee Dee, who had the long hair, light skinned chick. I miss.
Did you see that? Did you see the fur coat video that Janet posted?
I did not.
Like last week. Yeah, check out Janet Matten's video. I think it was last Saturday.
Somebody sent me a link the other day.
So somebody else, one of the.
Sorry, Rob. Go ahead.
One of the helpers of Janet's kitchen. I was at a thrift store and I saw a beautiful fur coat.
I might have seen that.
And I thought, man, I know just who will look so beautiful in that coat. And bada boom, bada bing.
Yeah, I think I did see that video.
Delivered.
Yeah, I think I did. Some weed was falling out the pocket.
Yeah, someone sent me a
I
link.
got a little nervous after.
It's it was Carlin,
Yeah,
George
there's
Carlin,
my email in the
on
chat.
Chris Rock's show, and Carlin's talking about
Yeah,
acid.
I got a little nervous.
Doing acid.
That was on an email?
Yeah, it was an email, but you can just probably put it in YouTube. That's a pretty little funny thing. He's talking about just how his approach to comedy and the limitation of speech and what words were offensive and censorship and all this stuff, and then how just Carlin kind of helped nudge out some space for freedom of speech and the airways. And it's a pretty interesting interview. It's with Chris Rock and George Carlin. If you pull it up.
I know now that he looks like some type of prophet. George Carlin does. They play his shit now, and you think what did he see the future?
Right.
No,
it's not that. It's just that the history repeats itself.
I agree. I say it like this, Blind Justice. I say it's a spiral, and it's so close when it comes around to the exact same thing. It's still repeating itself, but it looks a little different. So it's like a spiral going around. The same thing is happening. When you get to that point, it just looks different. We're wearing new clothes. Instead of getting bit with dogs, we're getting sprayed with the water hoses. We're getting shot with pepper balls. It's the same shit. New day.
Yeah. Did you find it?
I think so. Took a minute and a half long.
Yeah,
it's really easy. All right. I'm going to do this right again. I'm going
to Miss Blind Justice, have you seen my wife, Wendy?
I don't know.
Miss Justice.
I'm gonna text her and tell her to get in here because my God, you guys look familiar. When you smile, she got the long brown hair. My God, you guys look familiar.
All right. Hey, Matt's back. I'm gonna play this while you do that.
All right.
Sharing.
Yeah, be sure to hit the share audio button in the bottom left.
I got this. Got it.
Yeah, I was praying for you yesterday.
Here we go.
And it works good. It works good if you put it full screen on your YouTube picture.
I mean, when you're around bad comedy.
George Carlin.
Not even bad comedy, just that other shit.
Yeah, right. That big lame thing.
There's this thing you do, and then there's that other shit.
That's right. And I lived through, the hardest years of my life were the 3 or 4 years when I was doing straight mainstream bullshit television shows because I thought I wanted to be like a Danny Kaye or something. My dream from a kid was still like that. I wanted to be in the movies and go like this for people. And I didn't know that I didn't know my head was different. I didn't understand that. I thought if I thought about it at 9 years of age, it must still be valid when I'm 21. But it wasn't. And I finally, boom, that clicked in from the acid. Thank God for acid.
So all that hard work stuff is bullshit. Somebody give me some acid right now. I got people around here to get me shit, but no one ever gets me acid.
If you're, well, I'll tell you this. That's why they put it on that list of bad drugs, because they know it opens up the mind. It can be dangerous.
Yes.
I ain't saying it's not dangerous in some way. You take too much, take the wrong kind.
Now, where do you get your acid from?
I don't. That's what's nice.
Because I want the good stuff.
I don't need it anymore because it's a self-limiting drug. It's the kind of drug that you take it a few times and it tells you that's enough. We're cool. Now we're happening, and that's what happened to me.
As opposed to
shit like this and shit like that. And
Yeah.
Yeah. Psychedelics, man, can open up the mind.
I gotta tell you, yes, I've done my share of that, and I've been places. Not only that, I've done it with friends. And when I go there, I had a near death, and I would go visit the same cats I talked to during a near death. They didn't believe me. I told them come along, and we did all sorts of experiments. You know, we're not fucking scientists, but we did. They could hear the conversation between me and the other people. And if they step away, I think it was maybe 20 something paces or something, they could no longer hear the conversation. When they come closer, they could. And I made them prove it. I would ask them, what did they tell me? And they would tell me what they told me and that type of shit. We've done extensive shit on here. And he's right, the shit's dangerous. I always tell him, I know I'm sounding freaky. I'm probably finna run your crowd away. But I tell them that when you're open like that, you're open to both good and bad. So you better stay on the positive. If you come into that world, that realm with negativity, then the negative spirits rush in. If you go in there with positive, then the positive spirits rush in. You can feel the most wonderful. I think that may be a bad trip or a good trip. I've never had a bad trip. It could be what that is. That negative.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it personifies whatever energy that you're projecting, whatever you're sending out is like attracts it. So then it
attracts it, which would mean that shit is real. It would mean that these unseen things are real, which would go with science, right? Because if you take a fucking molecule or what have you, 98% of it is just unseen shit.
Yeah,
what
empty
we
space.
see is they said literally. I think this was Stephen Hawkins. He said, if you take the Sistine Chapel and throw a grain of sand in, that's what your cell. The grain of sand represents what you can see of a cell, and all the things that exist in there that you can't see is the other things, but they are just as real as what you can see.
Right. Yeah, man.
Hey, can anybody hear me out there?
Yeah, we got you.
Hey. Yeah, and I'm scared to talk because I think I'm gonna drive away the audience with that religious shit. So I'm gonna shut up for a minute, simplify.
Okay, I want to just say one thing, then I'll get off. The monkey
is that
thing
easy?
you guys just got done playing.
Yeah.
Okay, they did the human test. It was a hidden camera, and there was these people sitting in a waiting room, and they had one person stand up without saying anything to anybody else, and then people would come in one at a time.
With the
when
bell, right?
When the bell would ring, the one person would stand up, and they would not say any gesture. They wouldn't say anything to the individual. And over time, the second individual that came in would stand up, not knowing why they're standing up.
Yeah, we got it, Matt. We got it. She's got a video. I think she can pull
you
up.
want to watch it?
I've seen that one as well.
That's a good one.
I'm fine. And you have it.
I mean, I can pull it up.
She says she has it.
Yeah, it's the most amazing thing you'll ever want to see. Pretty soon, the whole room gets filled up with people that don't really realize what they're there for.
All right,
There's one in Vegas too, Matt. I'll tell you when this is done.
Hey, thank you very much, everybody.
All right, keep listening. I want to tell you about another study, Matt.
Miss Justice, look in the private chat. I put you a couple messages.
All right, brother. Hang on. All right.
Thank you for that, Luke.
To answer that question, we set up a hidden camera experiment to see if this woman would stand up at the sound of this tone, simply because everyone else is. You might be thinking you'd never go along with it.
sheeple. That's scary to me.
She is all by herself. What compels her to stand up if there's no peer pressure at that point?
Oh, now she's gonna embarrass herself when he don't get up. This is gonna be good.
Now she's going to educate him how to do it. It's
I
amazing.
think. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, something along those lines.
She knows something that he doesn't know. She feels superior here.
Interesting. I thought it would be awkward, but you're saying she feels superior. Interesting.
That's what I think. Everyone's doing it.
Yeah, she got a smug smile, like she knows something he doesn't.
Yeah. Like, oh, I didn't know I was supposed to do that. Oh, okay.
You didn't know when the bell goes off, you're supposed to stand. I'm helping this guy.
Did he do it?
Yep.
Oh,
He
yeah.
like looks around. He's like, oh, okay. He looks at her. Like, yeah, we stand. Okay, and sit back down. Now, I don't think anybody on this panel will do that. Oh.
Wow.
It's the monkeys at the banana.
Yes. Different people who haven't wasn't originally going through it. Now they've all been taught to do the same shit. The volume is very low, whether you know that or not. It's just
I got it maxed, man. I don't
okay.
know.
I just wanted to be aware.
Thanks, though.
All right.
Needed to join them, otherwise I'm like excluded. Once I decided to go with it, then I felt much more comfortable.
See that? You were right. You were right.
Boom.
She didn't feel awkward. She thought she was doing the right thing.
Oh, yeah.
Eventually join the ranks.
Dude.
And the only thing more shocking than seeing how easily conformity affects the way you act is that similar forces are subconsciously shaping the way you think.
The end.
Yeah. You want one that's really crazy? There's one called Push.
I'm not going to play that. You got to watch that.
It's
one.
like an hour or so long, but you got to just look it up. Like they try to get some social, pressure and conformity to get people to push a guy off a roof within like an hour or two time frame. It's
Can I tell you one
crazy.
more thing about that video?
Yeah.
My brilliant wife just got done saying, but there was no punishment involved in that video, which is kind of telling. There was no rain. There was no beating. They just conformed, and it's
We're weaker than monkeys.
Well, the punishment is, being left out of the group.
Night Stalker just said it's the mask experiment.
Yeah, it's exclusion.
It's when you go to the store and you don't have a mask on and you're the only one there that doesn't.
Like being a social outcast, but Matt has a great point.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask at what point with these people, is understand their act as an experiment, but if this shit was real and they really believed it and that person didn't stand up, I bet they would act out and force her. Why can't you do whatever it is? They have to pressure her to do what they do, even though they know not why they do it, but they would have pressured her to do it.
Oh, if she was the only one not standing?
Well, you are definitely witnessing that with the masks. People don't have a scientific basis for why they're wearing one or why they demand that you wear one. They just say, because the talking head told me to.
Yes. Right. Or even better yet, they tell you because people are dying and you tell them really what are the numbers, because we study shit like that. And you tell them no, all the revised studies, even with WHO and CDC, these are their numbers. They're more in line with the flu. They don't want to hear it. They want to stay in their cognitive dissonance for some reason.
Yeah. Well, it's they kind of have to try to justify themselves being duped, you know, and say, well, you're a bad person if you don't do it, and I'm a good person. It's this kind of ritualistic shame muzzle that they use a virtue signal.
And I do see the sun will rise.
What's that?
Oh, so that was me. My girl was texting me. Oh, she's in another room. I'm just gonna mute my mic. I'm gonna go and say hi to her. Joe B. Be Joe Cool for a while.
Okay, no worries.
Dude, and I hit on my girl.
Too late. There's a similar experiment I've seen where it's a very simple multiple choice question, and there's again a group, and like they changed the numbers of the actors to the regular people, and you know the first few deliberately get the answer wrong and say the same one answer, and depending on how many people are the actors who go first saying the wrong answer, the regular person that's being tested quite often goes along and says the wrong answer.
Yeah, I think there's one about like I think they take like different lengths of a line or something that's different lengths, and the question is which one of these is the longest, and like all the actors pick the clearly wrong answer, right? Like the second longest, and then the one person's like, no, it's A. A's the longest, and they're like, what? No, are you kidding me? No, it's clearly C. Like everybody's like, yeah, it's C. And he's like, what? No, and they're like, trying to get all close to it, and like it's A. Like no, it's C, guys, it's C. Like and the guy like doing the examination, like, yeah, it's supposed to be C, and then they swap them out, and it's the same thing, and like they're trying to. It's really crazy. Like the whole there's an adage where it's easier to can fool somebody than to help them understand that they've been fooled. Or I think I butchered that, but it's easier to.
Yeah, it was. They were testing to see sort of the numbers of how many people beforehand saying that particular wrong answer before the regular people would also start saying that wrong answer.
Somebody mentioned in the chat the Milgram experiment, which is fascinating and scary.
Right.
They redid that one recently. Is that
That's what I was wanting to talk about. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. Oh, we have Indie News on the panel.
Hey, welcome.
Yeah.
Can anybody explain that experiment? I'm interested.
The Milgram experiment?
Yes. Please.
Yeah. So the Milgram experiment was done I think the sociologist or psychologist, last name was Milgram, was back in either the late 40s or early 50s. It was right after World War II, and a lot of people it was after the Nuremberg trials, and you have a lot of Nazi officers, their defense for why they tortured people and murdered people and did all these crazy things to humans, and their defense was, well, we were following orders. Of course you have to do your job, you have to follow orders.
Right.
And which is kind of what the locals said on the phone the other night was, well, you gotta play ball, you gotta do what your boss says, or you're gonna lose your job, and you gotta take care of your family, kind of thing.
That's right.
So the world was like, were Germans just these really evil people? Like, is this something specific to Germany, or is it something that's common with humanity? So this is this big sociological question, and so Milgram set up this experiment in New York City where he put an ad out in the paper for people to come get paid to do, participate in an experiment. And the experiment was set up to test people's ability to learn if there was a negative incentive, like a punishment involved, right? So that's how the experiment was set up. So you had two people come in, and then they put their names in a hat, and they draw a name out of the hat. One person would be the teacher, one person would be the learner, and it's a setup. So there was always the guy that was the learner was part of the experiment. So he was always the learner, right? And he gets put into this room, this separate room, and is connected to these electrodes. And they're doing this. They're showing the teacher, the actual guy that they're doing the experiment on. They say, look, this guy's going to be put in this separate room. We're going to hook him up to this thing, strap him in this chair. Anytime he gets a wrong answer, he gets electrical shock. And then they actually let the guy feel the lowest setting electrical shock. Here's the lowest setting. He's like, oh, wow, that hurts. So they set him up, they close him in, lock him in the room, and then they go take the guy around to the other part where he has this panel of all these different electrical shocks. And anytime, so they give him like couplings of things like boy, girl, cat, dog, right? And so he's supposed to teach, the learner these couplings. And then once he asks cat, he's supposed to flip a right light for dog. And then if he messes up, you give him a shock. And once you give him one level shock, you have to keep going to the next higher level shock the next time he messes up. And so this is what they did. And they found that 75, I think the original one was 60-something% of the people were willing to give all the way to the end of the panel, which was like 400-something volts, like a lethal electrical shock to the guy in the box. And his responses, like he like halfway through it, he was, yelling, hey, stop, I don't want to do this. I have a pacemaker. Hey, I don't feel too good. And then towards the end, like he's silent. So they're still shocking the guy when he's not giving a response and he's no longer vocalizing anything. And they're just going through the motions and doing it because some guy in the lab coat is saying, you have to keep going. The experiment demands that you keep going. Yeah, just look up the Milgram experiment. It's crazy.
You're pretty close. It was actually 1961, and it was at Yale University. But and it was 65% went all the way to the max, which was 450 volts. But all of them went at least to 300 volts.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just crazy.
Yeah, I've seen the same experiment, but the test was supposedly on clairvoyance. And if they can predict what card, those ones with the shapes on them,
right?
Star, those ones. So if it was able to predict, and if they couldn't, then they would get the shock.
Yeah, that's like in Ghostbusters, right?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you think that they have learned that you don't need to punish somebody in order to get them to do what they want them to do? I mean,
no. The point of that experiment, Matt, was to show that all it takes was a perceived person in authority to tell them to do it, and they will override their moral conscience and kill somebody, like give them a lethal shock because some Yahoo in a white lab coat is saying, oh, you have to do it because of the experiment demands that you do it. That was the point, to show that the Germans weren't a special evil people. It's common in humanity that if they believe there's an authority figure telling them to do it, that for some reason they think that they're not responsible for killing the person.
Right.
Yeah, and the scientist, the actor in the lab coat was given a very particular script which they had to stick to. So if the person says they're not sure they want to continue, then they would say this line,
right.
As you said, something like, the experiment needs to, go to the end.
Yeah, they redid it in the 2000s. I forget, maybe 10 or so years ago. They redid it. One of the big news companies redid it, and they found, I think they had a higher number. I think their number was like 75%. It was crazy. Wow. But that first one with Milgram was just men, and so this updated one, some 40 years later, they had men and women, and they also had a few more variables. They found that if they had like more than one person being the teacher, like being the actual part of the experiment, that if one of them hesitated and says, I don't know about this person is screaming in pain, I don't feel comfortable doing this, I think this is wrong, then the other person and the experience, the lab coat person would be like, well, you have to do it. Well, since one person voiced like this is wrong, the other person was more likely to back them up and say, oh yeah, this is wrong, regardless of the authority, quote unquote, authority figure in the room. And the numbers dropped significantly when there's at least one more person there to speak up and say, this is wrong, we can't do this.
The ethics committee wouldn't let them go all the way to have them kill them.
Yeah.
They didn't let them have
But that's the Milgram experiment. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, sort of goes back to the other one that I was talking about, where there's a few people saying this and you're in the minority, then you would go along with it.
Right. Yeah, so like a lot of this, like it goes to like logical fallacies and you know, the appeal to authority is a big one. Appeal to popularity is the one that you're talking about, like the feeling like, well, everybody else is doing it, and so it must be right, you know. And that's the appeal to authority fallacy is a big one. Big reason why I don't like to talk about, you know, me when we're talking about activism, and we're doing the focus of this channel. It's not about me or any of my personal accomplishments or personal history or anything like that. It's because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I've been have the best record in the world or the worst record in the world. Like you analyze what I'm saying and what I'm doing, and if it has merit, and if you can, you know, find that it's true, then great. If you find that it's doesn't have merit and you find that it's false, then tell me how to fix it. You know, the other stuff is appeal to authority. It's like, well, show us your accolades or show us your whatever, and it's like, well, that doesn't actually have anything to do with the message. Like the trying to destroy the message by attacking the messenger is a logical fallacy.
Yeah, I've seen a few people sort of to do with what's happening with you saying, oh, you know, I had an encounter with the police and basically I just bent over and let them do what they want and they were fine with me. Well, yeah, you just bend over and let them do what they want, then they are going to be okay with it.
Except they're going to want more next time.
Yeah, our minds are so easily influenced, and yeah, I'm sure you've heard of the placebo effect, but then there's also the nocebo effect, where you can be convinced that something has a negative effect on you, and then it really, I mean, my son, when with our robotics team, when he was in high school, he convinced one of the kids in there that some chips that he was eating had been contaminated, and he actually got to the point where he threw up.
Oh.
Yeah, it was a good friend of his too. It was kind of funny, but it was just, you know, he was testing the nocebo effect, and I mean it's real.
Yeah, mind over matter. The power of the mind is incredible. Like,
can I say this also? I think, and I've always said this, that it is easier for the human mind to believe a falsehood than take the intelligence to research the truth. It's lazy-minded to believe a rumor than it is to research the truth.
Yep.
Yeah, that goes to I think the video you uploaded today, Matt. The Madison guy.
Oh, Andy?
No.
Oh, a different guy.
Yeah.
Oh, we're not doing names today. Okay. Sorry.
Hey, Mrs. and Mr. B.
Hey, Chris. This is Chris Clements.
Hey.
You just got on the Facebook page, right?
Yep.
Cool.
And I made some phone calls earlier today on your behalf.
I thought that was you. I just wanted to confirm that.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you get anywhere?
No. The sheriff's office will not take a complaint on the police in Madison. So I've got some more numbers to call.
Yeah.
But no, I got a whole lot of roadblocks.
I've got somebody in the basement.
Yeah.
Yes. Who's been here the longest? I have somebody in the basement that would like to join the panel.
I've actually am going to drive here in just a second. So if you want to kick me back down, but I wanted to bring up the Harvard prison experiment.
Yeah.
Yes, I was Stanford, wasn't it?
Stanford, I think.
Stanford, yeah.
Yes, I wrote it down right here.
All right, go ahead and kick me out.
No, you can stay. Oh,
well, put me downstairs.
The basement's empty now. It's fine. They left.
Oh, okay. Well, feel free to knock me out. I'm driving down the road. So.
Okay. Yeah, Matt, are you familiar with the Stanford prison experiment?
No, do tell.
This one is nuts, and it shines a lot of light onto what people say happens inside the jails and and like the majority of people don't believe it. But Stanford Prison Experiment actually had to be shut down because it got too dangerous.
Yeah, just a couple days into it.
Yeah, go. I don't remember.
So this was, it was a voluntary thing. I think they were, I think they were students, and I think the sociologist was going to pay them per day. And so they show up and they have like a section of the campus, like it's a basement part of a building, I guess. I don't know, some part of a building that they had designated to do this experiment in. And I forget how they picked who was going to be prison guards and who were going to be prisoners. I don't know if it was random or what, but
it was random.
Yeah. So they eventually they're designated prison guards and prisoners, and they had costumes that they could put on. But then the guards, of course, I think got to go home, right, and get rest and come back. And some of them would come back with extra things to add to their costume, like sunglasses and other things, to try to just complete the persona, of having the authority and having the power. And they were doing some seriously, I don't know if they got physical, but they were psychologically fucking up these kids, like that were the prisoners, and having them do all kinds of stuff that it was just inhumane. And
it was terrible.
Yeah, so they had to shut it down like within just a few days.
Yeah, they had very little instruction. It was just that they had to maintain order.
Yeah.
And they did get physical.
Yeah, it lasted 6 days.
It was 6. It was crazy.
Yeah.
All
People
right.
were walking off after just a couple days.
Yeah.
Mm.
Just spiraled out of control. Like the predator and prey, like they just took to those roles and
Power.
yeah.
Authority complex and all this nuts.
I'm
I
pretty
use
sure.
that as an example a lot of times when I'm talking to people about police reform, and that they need to have like tours where they're out in the street and then they're pulled off a tour and they're put behind the desk, because no human can do that and not get fucked up in the head.
Right. Hey, Rob, can you step down after the panel? We got somebody else waiting in the basement.
I can step down if you'd like.
No, we're good.
We're gonna go like first come, first serve, and
First in, first out.
yeah.
Yay!
Hey, lovely.
Hi, how are you? Yay, I'm finally on your stream.
Wobbly, what's up?
It's been great fun. I've been watching you for days, but I've been really busy. It's like, every chance I get a break for a cigarette or a bit of lunch, I'm sitting here watching you guys. You've been on heaps lately. It's been really interesting. So good to see you.
Get a little bit of insight in this small town southern community here.
Yeah, it's a beautiful behavioural experiment in itself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just you guys being in medicine and being you, and you're powerful people, mate. It's really, really good to see.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Hi, Joe. Hey, Simpa. Hey, Chris.
Hello.
I love the accent.
No worries. I don't mind yours either, Indy.
Joe Black, Wobbly Boost, and QLD are welcome on this panel anytime. Okay, just keep it talking.
Yeah, I dropped in on Queensland Cop Watch's stream last night, and his girlfriend's like, "Oh, good, you're not dead."
Oh gosh.
Because I haven't seen him and talked to him for a week.
Wow.
Hey, I've got an image I could share with you, but I guess we need another slot for that. So maybe I'll just read it out, this experiment.
Yeah.
You want to hear it? Yeah. It was, I'll have to read it off the image.
I'm pretty sure you can still share screen.
I think
Oh,
so.
really?
It'll just push us all to the side.
Oh, I'll try that.
I ain't got anything. I don't think.
Yeah, that works.
All your screens are belong to us. Doing Eric.
I wish you could see
all
my
your
comment.
Facebooks are belong to us.
Taylor's in the chat. Big
Right, there's the-
spicy channel.
There's the image.
Yeah. There you go,
Probably
bro.
not is it readable?
Hold on.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I got you. Oh, we actually just watched this a minute ago, Wobbly.
Which was it?
Oh yeah, the
you already
monkey.
seen it tonight.
Oh, yeah.
This is Oldie.
We played a little 2-minute video that played out this.
Oh, it featured this anyway. Oh well, that's old news. Okay, well that was one.
That's funny. No, but it's a good one. It was good.
You guys were very thorough.
Can you send me money? What is this?
Hey, but Wobbly, I like monkeys anyhow, so thank you very much.
Yeah, I just like looking at monkeys.
The old monkey see, monkey do adage.
That's
Well,
right.
I got stuck at the zoo staring at the monkeys, and my family walked away. It was terrible, but I enjoyed the heck out of them monkeys.
That's funny. All right, we got Luke in the basement. So I think Joe, were you you're the longest.
Bye, Joe.
Bye, Joe.
Bye, Joe. Thanks, man.
I'll stay in the basement until
Okay.
if
Yeah.
you want to bring me back up.
Right on, man. Thanks.
Okay.
Who we got?
Do I remove you? How do I?
I'm not sure what happened. Sorry if I'm interrupting, but I can't hear anybody. I'm going to hop out and hop back over to YouTube. Thanks again for everything you do.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Peace out.
Okay, Joe, stay where you are. Somebody's leaving. All right, Luke. All right, we have Luke, maybe.
Cool
in the
hand.
stream.
Cool hand.
What's going on, brother? Thank you for your channel. We really appreciate you.
Hey.
Hey, Luke.
Nobody
Hey.
wants 50
If
egg.
you want this justice practice while I'm up here, just putting me down in the basement.
I don't know.
I think you just.
Oh. Sorry, I did that in mid.
I was gonna say, and I know not everyone here is religious, and I'm not gonna force religion, but like it's easy to say just psychologically what's going on with the lies. Like I'm just gonna say, like God says that people that believe a lie and unrighteousness, like for that cause, He brings them strong delusions. But in general, just psychologically, you start to believe a lie. You develop this false ego, this false perception of reality, and narcissism. Everything is built upon something that will crumble. People are going to start to get delusional. The world already is. I just wanted to add that. I mean, you could see that. And can I add about like the mask thing? How crazy is that, right? That they think that that's going to stop germs despite all the evidence. And meanwhile, people are touching their mask constantly and then touching everything around them and wearing a mask that lowers their immune system, not breathing oxygen. Then somebody preparing your food, they're more comfortable with them constantly touching their mask than touching your food. They may as well be sticking their fingers in their mouth and then preparing a sandwich for you. It's insanity. I don't know.
You know what I say about the masks? I say this about the masks. If I could smell my own farts through a mask, dadgummit, a dadgum disease could get through that mask.
Well, you know, and
Lots are bigger than the flu virus.
Luke, I appreciate you bringing up scripture because I'm a follower of Christ, and I think that's real important. That's the objective truth. I was talking to my doctor who
is built upon that rock, right?
Amen. Talking to my doctor, and I was having problems, and if I wore a mask, my blood oxygen level would plummet. And they didn't believe me, but they actually tested it. Within 5 minutes, my O2 sat was below 90. And so I've got a note from my doctor saying I'm not supposed to wear a mask. But I made the comment. I said, I've got a bunch of chain link fence around my backyard, but somehow or another we still get mosquitoes. I don't understand it. And she
explain that to you if you want.
Yeah, well, she caught my point, and she said, but there's peer-reviewed studies that show that the masks help. And I said, oh, well, can you share one of those with me? So she goes to her computer, and a couple minutes later, she says, okay, maybe there aren't any.
Yeah, I keep asking people to send them to us, and we don't have any so far.
No, there's not any peer-reviewed studies. I said, here's a study. It's not peer-reviewed, but and this was a few months, 2 or 3 months ago. I said, the state that has had the mask mandate the longest is California, which happens to also be the state that has the most hotspots in it that have come up that came up after the mask mandates.
Yeah, that's Indy. That's the same here. The state with the biggest mask mandates is Victoria. They got the most amount of cases and the most draconian rules.
So you live in Australia, that little island off the coast of New Zealand?
Yeah, that's that tiny little island to the west of New Zealand. That's right.
Yeah.
And we're also America's 53rd state.
Yes. Yeah.
We live in a time.
Hang on, I thought we still ruled you.
Well, yeah, not really, because the Queen turned herself into a corporation. So now America rules us. The Reserve Bank rules us. I was going to say before about the mask that I have an intellectual, what's it called? That I don't have to wear them.
Psychological condition?
No, for an intellectual. Yeah, I've got an intellectual exemption to wear a mask. So not wearing a mask is fucking really stupid.
Yeah, I got CSS. It's common sense syndrome.
Yeah, that's it. It bites.
In the news, do you notice that the resentment that you might get for not wearing a mask is sort of similar to like the resentment like somebody who hates God shows towards a Christian?
Oh,
like,
yeah,
it's like that same hate and resentment.
It's religious, zealotry, yeah.
We live.
I refused to wear one even before that, but I, for my wife's sake, she didn't want me to cause a scene, so I put one on, and I was really feeling dizzy, and that's when I discovered that I probably had a problem, and so I went to the doctor's office, and they, so it became a problem there, and I said, well, get an oximeter on me, and I'll put a mask on, but anyway, it's just nuts. I did get a mosquito net. Yeah, I got one of these hats that have a mosquito net on it, and there's a few of us guys were going out to eat, and they said, "Oh, you got to have a mask coming." Oh, okay, no, you got to have a face covering. Okay, no problems. I grabbed the hat with the mosquito net. There it is. It's a cloth mask.
What Trump just said in the chat, I totally agree with. That's probably likely to be completely right. Chinese government launched an aggressive propaganda campaign to exaggerate the severity of coronavirus to help force the rest of the world into a draconian lockdown that would serve to benefit Beijing and every other government too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Could be something to it. That's all I'm saying.
We live in a time of junk science to frighten the population into doing things that, and it's also a test to see how far they could push us so that the next time, a little bit further and a little bit further. I'm out. You could turn me off and let somebody else in.
All right. Catch you later, Matt.
Yeah.
All right. Quote.
See, Matt.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Voltaire. That those who can make you believe absurdities can make you commit atrocities.
That's a good quote.
Belief is powerful tool.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. What? I don't know. There's nonsense happening. I'm trying to figure out what's going on in the chat real quick.
CDC has a thing on their website talking about the fires out west, that the masks that are designed to help with COVID are not. They won't help with that. That the particles are small enough that they'll get through the mask. They're a lot bigger. They're a lot bigger than the virus.
I was going to say they should have another. You go, Joe.
Oh, you do understand, but the virus doesn't just float off when someone opens their mouth. The masks are there to stop the bits of saliva coming out when you talk.
The reason a human coughs or sneezes is to aerosolize that shit so that it does go into its smallest possible particle. You're atomizing your spit. It's a way of ejecting it away from your body and killing it. Because a lot of that, even though it's airborne,
aerosols.
Every time you breathe out, there's going to be airborne viruses.
Yeah. Jimmy Johnson in the chat said, "Awesome job, guys. Thanks from Indianapolis, Indiana." That's where I am, Jimmy Johnson. So,
thanks, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Black
I love
Justice,
that too when people criticize
I know
me
you
for
don't
not
want
wearing
to talk about yourself, but the things that you're still doing, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I believe you joined the military for a reason, and I believe that you're still serving. You're bringing light to our rights, and you're trying to show people, you know, that they're going to lose their rights if they don't protect their rights, if they don't use their rights.
Yeah. Make a good argument that my actions in the military were antithetical to freedom and made people here less safe and less free. But now I try to do the opposite. I try to do what I can to help spread freedom and help people live a life of peace. So,
but I believe you joined for a reason. You joined for the right reasons, because you have so many people that joined for the wrong reason.
So, Blind Justice, and if you don't want to talk about this, that's fine. But I've always been curious how you lost your eyesight.
Yeah, I'll go one more again. Even though it's all over the channel,
it's everywhere, man.
I'm
sorry. I just never heard it from you.
Yeah,
Well,
I think two panels back, maybe.
Okay, I missed that one.
I answered that question for somebody, but it was a series of brain injuries. Last one was Afghanistan, tumbled down a mountainside, and then the vision loss I noticed like a day and a half later, which it's presented as double vision, like at distance, and then it just progressively got worse over the last 7+ years. So
wow,
yeah.
Tiff Mountain Division.
What's that?
I'm sorry, I was saying Tiff Mountain Division. Helmand Province or Patika Province?
No.
So I have somebody in the basement claiming to be Taylor, but their name is Your Best Nightmare.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna put who's going down? I forgot. Is it Joe?
I am.
No.
Yeah, it's me.
Joe. All right, I'm gonna.
The most respect to you, brother.
I can do this. I'm gonna put you down in the basement.
Hey, Blind Justice, do you see how this mandated mask wearing sort of conflicts with Civil Rights Act?
Oh, yeah.
Nobody's bringing that up. Like, why is that not like front and center?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I have.
It's big with, for people that are deaf, and they rely on a lot of lip reading, and it's
and what the court did to you, like saying that you go into court with your assistive equipment, that's criminal. That's insanity.
Yeah.
And it's easier to tell if a politician's lying if they don't have a mask on.
Well, I thought I was them.
All you have to do is turn the camera off and they magically disappear.
Yeah.
Poof. Right?
That's the truth.
Well, I asked them to show their face on the video for just a couple seconds. I see like kind of skin, maybe an arm. Maybe they're outside and it's just too dark to see.
Hey, Night Stalker.
Hey, Night Stalker.
You can go for it. If we gotta
all right,
drop it, we can.
All right, here we go. Oh no, you guys are fine. I was talking about the person in the basement. I'm sorry. I've got Your Best Nightmare on the panel.
Welcome.
In the dark.
What's going on?
How's it going?
I'm doing great. How come nobody sends me money on these things?
You gotta make your own channel, I guess.
I did. I got like 3 followers.
Did you drop a PayPal link in your chat?
No, I don't even have a PayPal.
Well, that's probably why you don't get any
We can
money.
help you out. What kind of content do you want to make with your channel?
I don't know. I kind of just want to boast the community kind of thing. I want to support it.
You could do interviews with the local businesses.
Yeah.
That could be cool.
Working in tandem with the what's it?
What community do you want to boost?
What is it?
Just right in general.
Drawing a blank.
Like the community where you live.
Oh.
What's the name of the organization that boosts businesses?
Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Goodness. CSC.
I could not think of it. Yeah, I bet you could work alongside them, do some interviews with people. I know there's if you're talking about Madison, there's a new place opening up soon.
Is there a Chamber of Commerce here?
Yep.
Yeah, there's one on just downtown Madison.
on,
It's
bro.
in what's it, Murphy?
All right,
Murphy. Mhm. It's up past dry goods store.
Yeah, the lady
You're in
that the lady that
I was gonna
owns
say, there's a Sonic Hall here too.
hold on, man. The lady that owns Southern Spirits, I think, runs the Chamber of Commerce here.
Okay, she's cool. I like going there.
Well, she was cool.
So someone mentioned in the comments that they don't have a problem wearing a mask. Just so people who have immune system problems don't freak out. Like, but there's always been people with immune system problems, right?
And you never
But we
wore a
didn't
mask
talk about
before.
wearing a mask, right? What's his name? Extreme Flicks. He always says that 1.5 million people died of tuberculosis.
Hey, Luke, I
Never
gotta
did
apologize to you,
anything.
man. I thought you were a robot.
I've got that before. Even when I'm talking, people have accused me of being AI because of my voice.
I was literally like, I muted us. I'm like, hey, babe, is this actually a real person?
That's a cool voice, though.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a great voice.
See, the idea of quarantine is a scriptural idea, but you quarantine the sick, not the healthy.
Right.
Right.
Right. Like, I don't mind. I'll wear a mask. Like, I work with kids with autism and all sorts of immune system deficiencies also. So, but that's never changed. It's not because of coronavirus, right? It's because of that.
You did that
To walk
anyway.
around with it everywhere is insanity.
Well, I actually got into a couple live streams on I was just chatting with a couple of different church building things. They were doing their live broadcast, and I asked them why they were closed, and they said because of coronavirus. You know, we don't want our people to get sick. And I said, well, disease has been here all along. Does this mean you're never going to open your doors again? Because if it's truly about making sure that nobody gets sick, you can never open your doors again. They didn't really have a conversation with me.
Yeah, it's insane. And then you'll see some preachers preaching about faith while they're wearing a mask.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it says not to forsake assembly in the last days. And yet they just right away they just folded all of them.
I was
never
surprised. I guess I shouldn't have been, but I was surprised that the American church shut down so easily. Like, I mean, I didn't see them put up a fight. Now I could be wrong. Maybe I just missed it, but
I'm a Christian. It's heartbreaking. I don't think Apostle Paul would have closed down a thing. I think it's insanity.
I'm with you. I think there's a few more goats than there are sheep. You know, and not everyone who says Lord, Lord will enter the kingdom of heaven. You know, that's what Jesus said. So there's a lot of people out there
that have hung in there.
Taylor's gone.
Oh.
That didn't last very long. Taylor, where'd you go? I mean, not Taylor. Sorry. He said it was him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is heartbreaking. It's been very revealing. I think a lot of it also is that the churches are too beholden to the government. We've got these big mega churches that, you know, they've got all this property. They've got so much to lose.
Tax free.
Yeah, and they're afraid to lose those things, and that's become more important to them than just following what the Bible says. And you know, well, you can do church online, and actually the word church, it comes from it's a translation from the word ecclesia, which means gather together for a purpose, and you cannot gather together online. This is not. Yeah, this is not. There was even a mob in Acts that was the same Greek word was used to describe a mob in Acts, but they were gathered together for a purpose. They were an ecclesia.
Right. Yeah. I went through the North Carolina Constitution today and found there's a spot in the North Carolina Constitution that talks about what would not make somebody qualified to hold office in North Carolina. And one of the things was if they deny the existence of God, they're not qualified to hold office in North Carolina.
So North Carolina made it very clear that there is no separation of church and state.
Yeah, they're
not even trying.
Yeah, it's like in their constitution in North Carolina. And you have the things with the like you're mentioning with the churches folding to the government because they are in bed with the government. And
see, there's actually separation of church and state is not in the Constitution. It's that the state is not allowed to establish a church. that there's quite a bit of difference there.
Just wondering on that, does it say which God?
No.
That's valid
Right,
question.
exactly. I'll tell you that America is blasphemy. And I
Yeah.
love America. I love my country. I love the people in it. But people were led to believe that it's somehow a Christian nation. You look on the back of that bill, and it's the all-seeing eye, the eye of Herod. The eye, right? That Herod was the one that killed everyone under the age of 2 in the hopes of killing Christ. It's the Antichrist. It ultimately leads to Lucifer at the top of that period. Illuminati, all these secret societies. It's a Luciferian, lowercase g God. And then on the front of it, it says, "In God we trust." Do you really think our nation is following Christ? I haven't met one leader. I haven't seen one leader that resembles Jesus Christ at all.
Amen.
We
You're right.
what did we watch? There was a documentary series on YouTube, and they like went through the timeline.
Know Your Enemy?
Boom! You just nailed that.
Is that what it is?
Yes, Know Your Enemy. That was a fascinating YouTube series. I mean, take from it what you will.
Yeah. I think that the narrator is from Wales. Like, so he's got an interesting voice.
Yeah. And I'm a sucker for interesting voices, apparently.
My grandfather came from Wales.
Yeah. Oh, what happened to my chat?
My name's Trevor, which is a Welsh name. It was pronounced Trevor in the old days.
Yeah.
Mike, I might switch to my phone and take my place in the basement, so I'll drop out for a sec. I'll switch to my phone. We can go for a walk.
Yeah, I think we're probably.
We can look at
I think
scenery.
we're probably going to wrap up.
Oh, you're about to bump out, eh?
We're probably going to wrap up here in a minute.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
2
yeah.
hours already. Okay. Well, next time I'll take you for a
All
walk.
right. Yeah, it's 11:09. Somebody asked me that earlier.
Yeah.
So Luke, do you have a channel?
I don't stream on this one. I stream on a few Christian channels. Like I'll teach like Revelation and how it compares to regular life or psychology or many different spiritual walks. I didn't start as a Christian. I came to find out that Jesus Christ was the highest power there is, right next to God. And so I love to share it. You know, I love to stay in the Holy Ghost and to gather with people that have the Holy Ghost. And
Have
some
you
people don't
guys
recognize it.
researched like the reformers, the Protestant
No.
reformers?
No.
A little bit.
So you mentioned Revelation, and so I'm talking all of the Protestant reformers, you know, the guys that broke from the Roman Catholic Church, their belief, like interpretation of Revelation is very interesting. I recommend you guys check that out because they there's lots of architecture and stuff around Europe from that period where they kind of influence a lot of the culture and things, but they
like that. So what's the channel called
yeah
again?
they point towards the papacy as, you know, the Antichrist, if you want to talk to like
Yeah.
So
The
they
Vatican,
break it down in
the
a carnal
Vatican being
way.
the house of the parasite paradigm that rules
So
all.
what was that channel called?
Who? Some indie? Was that you?
Yeah. What's that?
Somebody asked a question. Maybe it was.
What was that channel called they were talking about? Blind Justice.
The series, I don't know what the
find it.
channel is called, but the series is called Know Your Enemy. It's by a Welsh. Is that right? Guy
Okay. So when I break down Revelation and the Bible in general, like I speak of it from a spiritual. There's some people that speak about it in a carnal aspect, and I think that's what you're talking about. But I teach more like Christ crucified and what it is to, what that means inside of you to surrender things from your heart and your mind, to die daily, to take up a cross and follow.
So with that, then I would point you towards more George Fox and the Quakers. You familiar with George Fox?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna check it out. I love seeing new things.
Yeah. So George Fox and the Quakers, like that's my jam. Like that's the guys that.
You said the Quaker, and that's my jam.
Yeah. There's some OG dudes that would go around like the Britain, travel around and just go in and challenge priests, to explain different things, and they would. George Fox's approach would be like to internalize it, like you're talking about, and pull out the spiritual nuggets and be like, this is what this means today in our daily life, and like the priesthood didn't have anything other than regurgitated stuff that was handed down.
Yeah, exactly, like the secrets that are hidden from the foundation of the world. That's what I love to share. Man, I love you, brother. I'm so glad I met you guys, and
Hey.
I really appreciate your channel. Thank you, all my brothers and sisters in Christ. I love you. Anyway, have
Luke,
a great day.
before you take off, Luke, go to my channel, go to my about page, and find my email, and send me an email. I'd like to connect with you. It sounds like we've got some common
Absolutely.
beliefs.
Right on.
Yeah, I
brother.
like
You-
Luke.
Indie
Luke
news
is
on the
awesome.
street. Yeah.
I like Luke, even if he is AI.
Even if he is AI. All right. Later, Luke.
Hey,
All
whatever.
right.
Good to meet
Have a
you.
great day. My pleasure.
Look, I don't want to plug nothing, but did y'all happen to see The Social Dilemma on Netflix?
No, I read it. I've been seeing it pop up on Facebook, but no.
Sounds
It,
interesting.
it actually shows how Facebook and Google and all that know us better than we know ourselves.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
They
Freaking
remember
nuts.
every tiny detail that we forget.
Yeah.
I'm about done, peeps. So,
all right.
Well, hey, it's
really
good
happy
to see you
here.
again.
yeah. Thanks
Pray
for
for
hanging
you
out.
guys. All right.
I'll take you for a walk next time. I'd say stay strong, but I know you're a goner anyway.
Yep. Thanks for hanging out, sharing some thoughts. If you missed the beginning, Mrs. Justice read Plato's Cave. If that's too drab for you, I'm sure you can find an animated YouTube video
Probably.
of Plato's Cave. But it's definitely food for thought. So thanks for coming by.
Well, there's some long sentences in there.
Thanks so much for what y'all do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
keep doing
And thank you, Mrs. Justice, for having Blind Justice's back all the time. It's freaking awesome.
You
Thanks,
guys
man.
are great.
There would be no Blind Justice channel without Mrs. Justice.
Yeah.
Still be walking around the court.
Love you guys.
Oh. Here's a little nugget though that we're contemplating starting a new channel, and
Oh yeah, this is great.
So here we go. Here's the first plug. I don't know if you made it yet, but
No.
So the new channel is going to be something like Wandering in the Dark, and the premise is basically it's only going to be live streams, right? So it's going to be it's going to be me as your physical avatar that you guys get to direct throughout the world, and you guys get to chat in and say, hey, I want you to take a bus to this place, and then it's getting depending on the time or day or whatever. If it's time for lunch, like I'm basically it's choose your own adventure where you get to direct the blind man through the world. So if you guys want to pay for a plane ticket to send me to Greece or whatever, like I'm going to go live and show you guys like the whole journey about, the adventure. So that's kind of the idea of the channel. But
cool.
Choose your own adventure.
yeah.
Right.
So crowdfunded, like where you guys say, okay, I want you to go here. Somebody's got to, pick the location. Of course, we're gonna vet it. It's not like here, go to the middle of the desert where we're gonna, But once
take a long walk off a short pier, right?
Yeah, but that's kind of the premise of the channel that we're working on coming up, which should be interesting. Like just little out walking about adventures and different transportation and yeah.
How cool! That's really neat.
So.
All right, I'm gonna close this up, y'all.
All right.
Peace and love.
Be praying for you
See you
guys.
later.
You guys stay strong. Bye bye.